All right, let's get into it. Have you ever wondered if a machine, a bunch of code, could actually write a poem that moves you? Or compose a piece of music that really gives you the chills? Well, that's not sci-fi anymore. That's the world of generative AI. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see how simple lines of code are being transformed into, well, some pretty breathtaking creativity. So yeah, let's jump right in. I mean, seriously, that question sounds like it's ripped straight from a science fiction movie, right? How can a machine, something we built, do these things that we've always thought were, uniquely human? It's a huge question, and that's exactly the mystery we're going to try and unpack here. Okay, so first things first, let's start with the absolute basics. What is this technology? I mean, it feels like it's suddenly everywhere, doesn't it? From creating that viral art you see online to, even writing our emails for us. Let's really get into what's going on. So at its very heart, generative AI is a creator. It's not just about analyzing or categorizing information like some of the older AI we're used to. No, this type of AI makes brand new stuff. The best way to think about it is to imagine it's like it read every book, looked at every picture, and listened to every song ever made. It just absorbs this massive library of human creativity, and then it uses that incredible understanding to generate something completely new, something that has literally never existed before. Okay, that sounds amazing, but how does it actually do it? How does it create? Well, to figure that out, we've got to peek inside its so-called brain. And the engine that's driving this entire revolution, it's something called a large language model, or as you'll often hear it, an LLM. Right, so this large language model, the LLM, this is the absolute powerhouse behind it all. Think of it like a super specialized system that has been, obsessively trained to understand every little pattern and structure of human language. And I mean everything from Shakespeare all the way to, the weirdest Reddit threads out there. You want a really simple way to wrap your head around it? Okay, just picture the autocomplete feature on your phone, but then amplify it by like a billion. It's not just suggesting the next word, it's predicting the next word and the next one after that, and it just keeps going, weaving them all together into whole paragraphs, poems, or heck, even lines of computer code. So how does that prediction engine actually work? Well, it really boils down to three key steps. First up, it has to analyze the data. And we're talking about ingesting an almost unimaginable amount of text. Then, and this is the crucial part, it learns the patterns. It doesn't just memorize what it reads, it learns all the complex patterns, the grammar, the context, the hidden relationships between ideas. And once it's done all that, it can predict. You give it a prompt, and it just predicts. It figures out the most statistically likely next word, or even just a piece of a word, and it does that over and over and over again. And that simple act of prediction, when you do it at a massive scale, that's what results in this coherent and often, surprisingly creative text. Now, I know, it totally feels like all of this just appeared out of nowhere overnight, right? But the truth is, this technology has been a very, very slow burn. It's the classic overnight success that was actually decades in the making. In fact, this is a journey that really got started almost 70 years ago. You can really see that slow, steady climb on this timeline here. Way back in the 1950s, that's when the whole dream of machine translation was even born. Then, fast forward to the 1980s, we started getting our first kind of simple statistical models for language. But the 2010s, man, that's when things really took off. That was the real game changer. That's when neural networks and deep learning just exploded onto the scene. And all that progress set the stage for right now, today, where we finally have the raw computing power and these insane data sets we need to build the powerful LLMs that we're seeing pop up everywhere. And that journey brings us right up to today. So all these concepts we've been talking about, they're not just theories in a lab anymore. Oh no, they are actively powering real products and tools from some of the absolute biggest names in technology. Yeah, you've almost certainly heard of these guys, the key players in the field. You've got OpenAI's GPT-4, which is the engine running things like ChatGPT. Then there's Google with their model Palm, which they're plugging into their search and all their workspace products. And of course, you have Meta with Llama, which is really interesting because they've taken a more open source approach, which lets a lot more researchers and developers build on top of it. The bottom line is, each one of these giants is pushing the boundaries just in their own unique way. But okay, with all of this incredible power comes some really serious challenges. And as exciting as all this tech is, we absolutely have to be clear-eyed about the risks. So let's pause for a second because this next part is incredibly important. Just think about it for a second. An AI that can write so convincingly, it can also be used to create misinformation on a truly terrifying scale. And because it learns from, well, the entire internet, it can absorb and then amplify our very worst societal biases. These same tools can be used to write super sophisticated phishing emails that are almost impossible for you or me to detect. And then you've got these huge, massive, unanswered questions about copyright and ownership when an AI is the one doing the creating. Look, these aren't small issues. These are critical, fundamental problems that we have to confront as a society, and we have to do it now. And that's where we'll leave it. The code has been written, the technology is out in the wild, and believe me, it is getting more powerful by the day. So the fundamental question for all of us, for you and for me, is what story are we going to tell with it? The future of creativity, the future of truth, maybe even what it means to be human. It all kind of depends on the choices we make right now. Thanks for digging into this with me.